is a crazy lady. This is not a crazy cat lady. This is a crazy hedgehog lady, and she's going to talk to you about hedgehogs. This week, the British Hedgehog Preservation Society are having a Hedgehog Awareness Week, and you're probably wondering why we need an awareness week for hedgehogs. Well, that's because hedgehogs are in decline. This is a graph. This graph shows data provided by the People's Trust for Endangered Species from their Living with Mammals survey, which has been running since 2003. That red line in the graph is what we call a trend line, and that subtle downward trend tells us that the number of hedgehogs being observed, either by sight or through sign, is decreasing year on year. As a quick aside, let me tell you a little bit about data. You see, data can be quite tricky, and sometimes it makes it look like something's actually doing really well as its numbers seem to increase. But that can be a result of improved data collection, as in the more we survey, the more records we have. So don't be fooled. Hedgehogs really are in decline, and that's why we're raising awareness of them. So back to the matter in hand. Why are hedgehogs important? Well, hedgehogs eat slugs and other invertebrates. So not only does this make them a gardener's best friend, but it also makes them what we call an indicator species. They indicate to us the state of the wider environment. So why are hedgehogs in decline? Well, as the name suggests, hedgehogs are quite keen on hedges. And since the Second World War, RSPB says we've lost up to 50% of our hedgerows as a result of agricultural intensification. You see, big farms need big machines, and big machines are much more efficient without the hedgerows. This is bad news for hedgehogs because they use them for foraging and nesting. They provide food, and they even protect them from predators. Talking of which, we should probably introduce you to this guy. This is a badger. He too likes to eat worms, but sometimes he can also eat hedgehogs. And clever people call this relationship asymmetric intragill predation. And as the fancy name implies, it's very complicated, and it isn't really enough of an explanation as to why hedgehogs are in decline. There's a few other things going on. For a start, these are some humans. Well, at least some time ago. These are humans now. There's a few more of us, and more of us means more of lots of other things. It means more cars, and more cars mean more roads, and more roads mean well, hedgehog habitat is more fragmented, and these roads act as barriers, and that means more squished hedgehogs. More of us also means more houses, and more houses means less countryside. Not only that, but all these new houses always seem to be so neat and tidy. Hedgehogs don't like neat and tidy. So how can you help hedgehogs? Well, there's a few things you can do to help hedgehogs. Hedgehogs like a bit of a mess, so why not let a small corner of your garden grow wild? You could also build a hedgehog house. That would really help hedgehogs, especially this time of year when they're looking for somewhere to have their hedgehog babies. One more thing. Did you know one hedgehog can travel up to 1 to 2 kilometres a night? So if your neighbour has a hedgehog, you could have one too. You just need to cut a hole into your fence or even dig a little tunnel. And don't forget the slug pellets. You see, if you hire a hedgehog, well, encourage them into your house. They'll eat the slugs for you. That way, you don't kill off their food, and sometimes all those pellets, they're really not very good for hedgehogs. Finally, you could definitely help a hedgehog by leaving out a bit of food and water. Maybe some mealworms, maybe some cat food. That way we can be sure they won't go hungry, especially in the colder months. So now we know why hedgehogs are in a spot of bother, and we know what we can do to help. It really is just a few simple steps that can make a huge difference. So during this Hedgehog Awareness Week, why not make a crazy hedgehog lady a super happy crazy hedgehog lady? And don't forget, hedgehogs need you.